meeting. And I am Darlene Hansen, and I am the leader of the empowerment team and the empowerment team hosts our Communication Access Connect for Disability Voices United. Disability Voices United is a nonprofit dedicated to making change and helping change happen and advocating for change. So we'll talk more about that. We have some projects for you guys to get involved in later on at the end. But in the meanwhile, I'll give my description and then I'll let the rest of my team describe themselves as well. And then I'll introduce our guest speaker. So I'm Darlene Hansen. As I said, I'm a speech and language pathologist by trade. And then I'm here with you as a part of the Disability Voices United team. I have a green sweater on. I have red glasses on. I have shoulder length gray hair. And I'm kind of a older woman. Not real old, but a little bit older. And that's me. I'm going to pass it off to you, William, to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is William Del Rosario, and I am a Hispanic Filipino male in my 20s with short black hair, brown eyes, and I wear glasses. I'm an intern with DVU. I have autism, apraxia, am a multimodal communicator, and use augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC, via typing in my iPad. Thank you for making the time to be here.
All right, thanks, William. And Nina is another member of our team. I'm going to have Nina introduce herself.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Nina Spiegelman. I'm the policy director for Disability Voices United. And Darlene is not an older woman. I'm the older woman of this team. And I've got a green DVU background. And I'm wearing two sweatshirts because it's freezing here in the Bay Area where I live. I'm like freezing cold, but so happy to be here with everybody tonight.
Thanks, Nina. We'll talk to you again some more later on, too. Great. And then Michaela, where are you?
I'm here. I'm not usually on camera. Here I am. I'm going to spotlight myself for a second. My name is Michaela. I'm the program assistant for the empowerment team, and I'll be doing the technical hosting for all the Communication Access Connects moving forward. Visual description, I'm self-considered old. I'm an older young adult, we'll go with female. I have two braids in my hair right now and a black sweatshirt with a gray Disability Voices United background. And if you have any questions for me throughout the meeting or need technical help, you can put them in the chat.
Thanks, Michaela. So for those of you who have not been on our CAC sessions before, we use the chat actively. So the chat is for chatting, it's for cheering, it's for questions. Whatever you need to do, you can put in the chat. I will, whenever the speakers have pauses, or if there's something that comes up that's timely to the conversation, I'll do the voicing of it if you want me to. If at the end and when we do the questions and answers, you have a specific questions you want to ask, you can raise your hand and ask them then verbally or with your device, either way. So that's kind of how the chat works in our group. So keep it open if you're so inclined. And there'll be stuff happening in there a little bit. So I just wanted to open with this weekend. Disability Voices United had our retreat, we call it. It's a working retreat. It's not like fun resort retreat, although we have fun, but it's really more about work, and it's about planning out the next year. And I just wanted to put it out there to all of you that we had a really great retreat, and it really motivated most of us, if not all of us, I'm pretty sure it was all of us, to get to the next steps of our advocacy work. And so I'm really hoping that any and all of you will get involved in Disability Voices United, however you're so inclined, whether it be through the self-advocate programs that we have or the leadership programs that we have, or just SDP Connect, or our rallies and our calls to action and all of that. There's lots of great stuff happening right now, and we hope that you all get excited to get involved in it as well, because we're real excited about what's going on here in the state of California right now. Hopefully getting it moving in the right direction. So that's my spiel on that. But today we have with us one of our product vendors. Every once in a while, we like to invite a product vendor in to talk about their new or existing, I think it's new this time, product lines, and share with us some of the things we can look forward to. So it's an opportunity for us to learn from them, but it's also an opportunity for us to get more information about assistive technology and augmented communication in general, and share, I think, with the vendors. In this case, it's going to be Devon from Tobii Dynavox, but share your ideas. Like, I wish I had something that did this, because she can take it back and she can talk about it with her research design people, and who knows, next year or 2 years from now, it might actually be like something that happens because you made that suggestion. So I get really excited about the opportunity for us to connect and share and hopefully grow products into what you really, really need. Technology is changing so fast. So I want to bring on our friend Devon from Tobii Dynavox. So Devon, let's see, Michaela, I'll let you bring her on so I don't touch anything. Welcome, Devon from Tobii Dynavox. Now, most of you probably have heard of them before, either as Tobii or as Dynavox. If you're as old as some of us, they were two separate places, but then they merged, I don't know how many years ago.
7.
7? Okay. And so I'll have to stop with that story because no one will know what I'm talking about soon enough. But the Dynavox especially, that was the team that I always connected with the most, I think. And you guys have just been so practical and I want to say connected, or you know, just really helpful to, I know, for my work and the consumers and the communicators that I've worked with, just helpful in getting our needs met and stuff. So I'm excited to have Devon here to talk with us about the Tobii Dynavox line. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Devon. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So I love what Darlene said about letting us know, because actually most of our like famous or like most known items of our devices and our products have actually usually come from patient feedback. Because you are all the one using them, we are making them, right? So obviously we can anticipate needs, but if we know exactly what you need, then we will do everything we can to actually support that. So definitely please place those in the chat. There will be a couple times in the presentation that I'm giving today for us to stop and have questions or comments. So please feel free to be involved in that. All right. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, and I apologize because that Zoom thing is always right where I need to be. Okay. All right, guys. So as Darlene said, my name is Devon. I am a solutions consultant with Tobii Dynavox. My particular territory is most of San Bernardino and parts of Riverside County. We do have a lot of consultants. Everyone has a different territory. So if you are unsure who your consultant is and you'd like to connect with them, you can do that on our website, or you can use my contact information below and I will help get you connected to the correct individual. All right, so just a little bit about me and my background. I actually am a speech therapist. I worked with Loma Linda for 6 years doing AAC therapy and treatment. I have done both adults and peds, a lot of different diagnoses, and I was very lucky to work mainly with AAC patients. I am newer to Tobii Dynavox. I've only been with the company for a year, but my passion really resides in education and helping those that need a voice find one. All right. So I hope you don't mind. My family are very musical. My dad's a music teacher. My mom plays multiple instruments. And one of my favorite musicals is The King and I. So we're going to play a tiny bit because I want to get to know you. Getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to like you, getting to hope you like me. All right, I hope you were able to hear that. Sometimes with sharing, it's not always audio, but so if you would like to drop a little bit in the chat about who you are and what AAC devices you've used or what experience you have with AAC, I would really love that. I always love to be able to kind of cater my presentations to my listeners. All right, so I'm just going to give it a minute and see if I can catch anyone.
If anybody has any products they've ever used, put them in there.
Okay. Perfect. So it looks like actually quite a few of you are familiar with TD Snap, which is great. And it will definitely help you in today's presentation. All right, so for those of you who have a dedicated device, I'm sure you were eventually walked through this two-part where basically patients can get communication devices in one of two ways. The first is through a dedicated device or solution, and this is funded by insurance and usually is for patients that have a medically supported diagnosis or justification. The other way is that for people who want to buy out of pocket, for some reason are not able to get devices through their insurance, there are also non-dedicated devices, which is a device such as an iPad or a tablet that the patient buys themselves, and then they buy our TD Snap software and load it on. So for those of you who are familiar with those, what I really want to do is just give a little bit of information about what a dedicated device offers you besides the device and software itself, right? So our devices are built for communicators, specifically those that are very active. So they are very durable. They go between environments very well. They have integrated speakers that allow the device to be louder. So if you are in background noise or if you are somewhere where you need to raise your voice, you are able to do so. We have integrated batteries that create a longer battery life, which means that your device will not die, right? So you can communicate all day throughout your day, no matter where you are. Purposeful devices and designs for transporting and mounting. So for those patients that do use physical or adaptive equipment, such as walkers, strollers, wheelchairs, we are able to get those mounted. So wherever you go, they go. Improved warranties, training, and support. This is one of the things that I think is the biggest reason to have a dedicated device. So we are going to go over, there have been changes in our warranties recently, which is very exciting. But for every funded device, there is a consultant such as myself that will reach out to give training. We do have technical support, and we also offer a lot of free resources on our website. And then the last thing is that when you get a dedicated device, you actually get a companion license. So what that means is, let's say we have a kid and their mom, right? Mom wants to have a companion license, meaning she wants to have access to TD Snap. So she might put it on her phone or her personal iPad so that everyone who is in the environment with you can also communicate in the same way that you are. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about what is new at Tobii Dynavox, and this presentation came at a great time, Darlene, because we actually just launched 4 new devices. We launched a line that's called the TD Navio, and we're going to look at those in detail. And we also launched the second generation of our I-110, okay? As far as software, not necessarily new things, but when I talk about AAC, the first thing everyone thinks of is communication, right? Because they are communication devices. But what I love about Tobii Dynavox is that we also try to offer accessibility, computer, and really ways to create independence in your day-to-day life, as well as add communication. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we offer that help with that. And then we're going to talk about which devices have changed warranties. So we are now offering 5-year warranties for most of our devices, which is really great, because if something happens to the device, we want to be able to be there and support you through that and make sure that your equipment lasts as long as you do. So here is our new line. It is called the TD Navio. And these devices are going to have multiple access methods, which will be shown on the next slide. But what I want you to notice is that we're selling them in 3 different sizes, right? So here's the mini. This is the size of a mini iPad. We have the MIDI, which is the size of a standard 10.2-inch iPad. And we have a Maxi, which is the size of a TD Pro iPad. So you can see that based on your size needs and based on how you want the device to look, we can support you with this new line. So as you can see, the TD Navios are available for multiple access methods. Touch is the main reason and the main way that most of our users do use these devices. But every single device, even the smallest one, is also switch and mouse enabled, which is not true for our older generations in this size. You can also see that they are going to be key guard enabled for those that have fine motor impairments. The key guards are now going to lock onto the device because we've had a lot of patients who the key guards have gotten broken, or kids have just popped those off and chucked them across the room. So there have been improvements here. But let's talk about really what's new about the TD Navio. What makes it different than the previous generation that we were selling? So the first thing that's new is we are offering cases that are included in the price of your device that are going to help with the durability of the device, but we're actually offering them in colors, right? So they come in the colors you see here. The reason that we're doing that is because especially kids love to show their personality, and they can do it in their clothing and, you know, through their hair color and style. And we also want the AAC to be able to match whatever they feel their personality is. The second thing that we improved is the runtime or the battery life. So our previous generations had a 10-hour battery life, and the new Navios have an 18-hour battery life minimum, right? There is faster charging. So instead of taking 4 hours to fully charge the device, it's only going to take 2 hours. Instead of offering a 3-year warranty, we're going to be offering a 5-year warranty. And the warranty does cover everything except complete theft or loss. So any breaks, cracks, right? You don't need to be afraid. Let your kid and your family, your loved ones, let them be who they are, right? Let kids be kids. If it breaks, we're going to be there for you. The next thing is that we did trim off quite a bit of weight with each of the devices, and they are much thinner, which does make them a little bit more portable and look less bulky. Again, the sizes are different. So previous generations, we've only offered the mini and the regular iPad size, but we understand that a lot of patients still want something that's lighter and more portable, but they have perhaps vision or fine motor impairments. And so the largest of our Navio series is really going to help those patients find the device that best fits them. The next thing, we did talk about those key guards. So the biggest change that we made here is that they're more sturdy and they are going to stay on the device better. And then the built-in handle. So a lot of our devices, the handles will either external or behind the device, which made it difficult for people with motor impairments to really transport their device. So what we've done is we have built the handle right in the middle, so it's actually part of the durable case. So it's much less likely to break and crack. And then you can see that we have also put the speakers facing the top, because most communicators will either be on the floor or have their loved one behind them. And so this will generate better sound for the listener. So now that we talked about all those wonderful changes and updates that we've made, I want to tell you that what's staying the same is the software. So no matter if you are a TD Snap, a TD Talk user, you will be able to use your software on our new generation of TD Navios. All right, we are going to jump right in to our TD I-110 second generation. So again, this device is Windows instead of iOS or Apple based. It can be used as a touch device. Again, it can also be used with switch and mouse access. So let's talk about the second generation and what makes it new. Again, we have a longer runtime. So one of the biggest things that we got from feedback from users was sometimes I don't always have time to charge my device and I need it to last as long as possible. So the TD I-110, instead of lasting anywhere from 8 to 10 hours, is going to last 10 plus. So it is a minimum of a 10-hour runtime. The Windows operating system has been updated within the second generation. And there's a faster central processing unit. Now, my husband is very techie and he could probably tell you exactly what that means. What I can tell you is that it's not going to slow the software or the device down, right? So if you or your child is a fast communicator and likes to move and talk quickly, this central processing unit is going to be able to keep up with them. We did shave a little bit of weight off the second generation. And again, we did do a different type of charger. So instead of taking 4 hours to fully charge, it's only going to take 2.5. All right. And then what is the same? Again, our software, right? So this also will come with Communicator 5 if you are a user of that software. But again, any software that you like, we can have loaded onto this device. All right, guys, so either unmute yourself or talk to me in the chat. These devices were literally released on September 5. I have done maybe 5 to 10 evals with the new equipment. So I have been getting some feedback, but Tobii Dynavox is always looking to improve. So any thoughts or comments about those new devices, what they look like, any questions?
Can you put them, go back to the picture of the
Of
thing
course.
so we can keep looking, so we're thinking about it while we're seeing it.
Yeah. So here are our
Okay.
TD Navios.
Okay, so here's one question. Christine's asking, when you say lightweight, can you specify the actual weight?
We can. So the mini is, the old generation was 2 pounds. The newest one is 1.95, I believe, which I know doesn't sound like a lot of weight difference, but trust me, you feel the difference in the width of the device. Yeah.
So where's the speakers on it? It's like that little, the handle part?
Yeah. So if you actually see these two grid looking parts here, those are your
Mhm.
speakers.
And then the screen,
Yep.
if
The
you were
screen is,
typing, where would this, oh, because you got a key guard on there,
yep.
but,
So this picture, you can clearly see the
oh,
screen.
there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's the screen. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Okay, does the case have a strap?
It sure does. Yes. One of the improvements that we've made is that now the strap is below and we've made the entrance to the strap larger so it's easier to put on. And the strap has a lot more adjusting because we got feedback that our really teeny tiny kids, the strap was still too big for them. So we made sure that you can really customize the size of that strap.
Yeah. So now they're asking what's the weight of the MIDI and the Max?
The MIDI and the Max, yes. So the Max is going to be one of our heavier devices. I believe it is still around or under 3 pounds. I apologize. They are so new. I still do not have those facts memorized. but you can find the exact specifications on our website. The TD I-110, again, we shaved off about 0.5. So it is very similar to the weight of the older I-110, but again, it is thinner, and especially the part on the back where the battery sits is much flatter. So it looks more inconspicuous.
Excellent. Alvar is asking if eye gaze access is available on these.
Good question. So these are meant for every type of access except eye gaze. We get a lot of questions about using iOS with eye gaze, and so that's why we offer our TD Pilot. Basically what this is it is an eye gaze solution for those iOS users. So we do have it available, it's just not part of this Navia line.
Oh, okay. So Tobii Dynavox does have an eye gaze system. It's just not part of this line.
Yes, and we actually have 3 eye gaze devices. One of them is Windows or iOS based, and 2 of them are Windows based. So you can definitely, again, whatever hardware meets your needs, whatever you're used to, we can support you with devices for either.
Okay, great. Satish is asking, and I can answer this one too, but my son's 21. Is it too late to start using AAC? No.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
Yep, take it. Every SLP has this soapbox, but I myself had a lot of patients that came in, had issues with communication as children, and were getting devices as really young adults. It's basically like asking the question, is it ever too late to teach language or to teach communication, right? And we know that it's not. It's so essential.
And it's never too early.
Very true.
It's just always the right time to get communication. We're always in the right time. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then William's asking, can you type, or are these pictures only? Can
Yes, great.
pictures be combined?
Great question. So we know, for those of you who know TD Snap, we actually offer text-only based page sets. So they are definitely available on this device. They happen to release the photos all using the picture version of TD Snap, but completely text-based systems are available.
And Christine's asking if they are cases are crash or waterproof.
Good question. So our TD I-110, which is this guy, this is still our most durable device. This one is, I mean, you definitely don't want to drop it in the pool or in the bathtub. But I saw a kid playing with it outside in one of those little sprinkler fountains, and it works just fine. The Navios, again, are very durable. They have been drop tested. I've seen kids step on them, keep walking. I've seen adults step on them and keep walking. But these Navios are not as waterproof as our TD I-110s. And that just has to do with the Apple-based system versus a Windows-based. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Can you screen share with these devices? Like if someone was communicating in a presentation and sharing, like you would a PowerPoint on the screen behind you, can we do that from these devices?
Good question. So it depends on how you want to do it. So I have some patients that buy a little external camera, right, and just point it down towards their device while they're talking. The great thing too is that if you have a companion license, you can actually load it onto your laptop, and then you can screen share like you would any PowerPoint or Word doc. So you definitely have options.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So screen because would it be shared live? Wait, okay, so you
Yes.
put it on your
So
computer.
actually I can pull it up, right? I have the software on my computer, and
Okay.
I can say, I like you. Right? So you're seeing my screen. Can you see it, or is it only sharing my PowerPoint?
We see your PowerPoint.
Okay, see my PowerPoint. So let's stop that share and let's restart it with full screen. Okay, perfect. So now you can see this is the companion license, right? The communication software. Not only can you see it, but you can hear it. I want more. Right? So a user that is an adult, right, using a text-based system, maybe they're working on a Zoom or they're using it to communicate with others virtually can definitely use it in this manner.
And so you're typing it on your computer?
Yep, I'm actually touching it with my mouse.
Okay. And
Yep.
you can activate the stop and the go buttons as well with your mouse.
Yep, absolutely.
Stop, going.
So it works just like the touch device, except instead of touching the actual tablet, you're using the companion license and your mouse on your laptop.
Okay, this is
Okay.
something to consider.
Yeah. And again, I really love
William.
that we offer that. A lot of SLPs or family members, especially for kids, they'll send the companion license to another family member and then they'll Zoom chat and they'll do this together. And it's really, really special to see.
Yeah. So Alvar was saying that you might go over this later, but is there assistance available for getting a device covered by insurance?
Yes. So that is one of the things I love most about our company. We actually have an entire portion of our company that's all they do. They call the insurance, they talk to the insurance, they call the doctors. So we really help with that. And we work with the majority of major insurances. And honestly, your solutions consultant will kind of get that started. But yeah, absolutely. We're a full support team. So we would love to help you with that. All
Cool.
right.
And then William said, do these work with Zoom chat? For example, that message I want more, can you copy and paste it from the iPad to the Zoom chat on your laptop?
Good question. So we do have a share option. Let me see if it'll, oh, I think I shared my PowerPoint screen again. Let's see. But on TD Snap and anywhere in our TD Talk software, there is a share button. And so you do have options that you can share. So you can share it to a Word doc, you can share it to our text messaging systems and stuff like that.
So you're not sharing screen, then you're sharing it just as a keyboard in a sense.
Correct. So if you're using text only. Mhm.
Yeah.
If you're
Okay.
using Zoom, this is usually what I do, right? Because they can literally see and hear both things. So you're
So,
not
but if,
so much sharing as they're watching it in real time.
right. So like if William wanted to ask a question in a meeting and he's on his companion device,
Mhm.
could he then, and he also has Zoom logged in on his companion device, could he just be talking in the, typing on the, and end up in the chat feature?
Yes, so
Using,
you can do that. It would require, so if you are, again, just typing the text, you can share it straight from the screen. But what I've had patients do is, if they're in a Zoom meeting, right, if the meeting person allows them to be a co-presenter, then when they're getting ready to talk, they can share their screen so everyone can see this companion license and they do their thing and everyone can see what they're asking.
okay, so what, he doesn't want to share, he just wants to be able to talk in the screen, in the chat. What he
Yes, so the audio from the device will go straight into Zoom because it's integrated into the same device. So just like you were able to hear when I was touching, if you're touching on your device, it will go into the Zoom.
Mhm. I don't know
Okay.
if those are all the things you want to be able to do on, or not, William, but you can say it probably better than I can if it isn't.
This is
Yeah.
William's mom. So, so like right now, how he typed in the chat without having to talk over the speaker is where he's challenged. He wants to be able to participate in the chat like the other participants are in there without having to raise his hand or talk over, because that's not always possible in class or otherwise.
Mhm.
That's where he's
Um,
challenged.
So right
Using
now he can only use his device one way. It's just as a communication device, whereas he wants to be able to use it as a communication device and type in the chat like you or I type in the chat.
Correct. So either I have to retype it for him,
Right.
or I can share it, like you said, to a Word document, but then I have to have a third screen with a Word document up and copy and paste. If we could airdrop directly from the device, that's kind of a user communication support need that we have.
I wonder, Alvar, how do you do that? Like you just type in the chat, Alvar, huh? I'm assuming Alvar's still here. Well, we'll wait for him if he is. Yeah, he is. Okay, hang on. He'll get to us.
And I do see a question about being paired with a keyboard. Yes. So our Navios need to be Bluetooth, but our TD-I-110 actually has a plug. So if you have a keyboard that requires USB or some sort of hard plug-in, you can use them there as well.
But you can Bluetooth it.
All right, and that is a great question from William. I don't know if we can do anything like that. So I'm going to drop it into our tech support, and when I find out, I will forward it to Darlene. But I appreciate that. We do have a lot of adult users that use our devices, and so I'm sure this question would be infinitely helpful to more than just who's here today. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. And Alan,
All right, I am going to go.
Cheryl said, I want to know
Yeah.
if it could help in the house, like turn on lights off and on and turn the TV off and on.
Good question. So part of our TD Snap, there is a way where you can integrate either Google or Alexa. So basically, if you have a light switch or a lamp that you want to control with the communication device, all you need to do is buy a smart plug. And you plug that lamp in, and then you program a button in the device that says, "Hey Google, turn on bedroom light," and it will send the message from the device to the smart plug and turn on your lights or TV.
Okay. So you're actually doing it through Google.
Yes, but the device is what's doing the speaking for you, right? Because what the patient probably will struggle with is saying the words, "Hey Google, turn on bedroom light." So you can create messages for that and integrate it directly into the device.
So you're younger than me. And so, and maybe this still happens, but it used to be that the device itself would have like a controller on it.
Some of them do. That's more through Communicator 5, and it's used more so for patients that have issues with motor, right? So for some reason they can't physically push buttons on a remote. To my knowledge, it is not yet in TD Snap.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate all this participation. I hate just talking at people, so I really appreciate it. We are going to move on. These are going to be mainly for alternate access users. So a lot of these are going to be for eye gaze or switch patients. But again, what I love most about Tobii Dynavox is that we try to make your experience as independent, even outside of communication. So we're going to look at some things that will allow you to access internet, computer access, and phone access. So first, we're going to talk about TD Browse. So TD Browse is a purpose-based web browser that was designed specifically for eye gaze users. Again, it's made to feel as integrated and simple as possible. So what we're going to do is watch a little video because I feel you get the best out of this when you can see what TD Browse can do. So let's take a look. Okay. All right, can everyone see the screen that says Meet TD Browse?
No, we see you now.
Okay, let's go back to share. I appreciate it. Okay. All right, here we go.
I'm Tammy, and I'm from the learning team at Tobii Dynavox. I'm excited to tell you about TD Browse. You're probably familiar with popular web browsers like Google Chrome, Edge, or Safari for using the internet. TD Browse is a web browser too. In fact, it's our own purpose-built browser, designed specifically for people who need online access just using their eyes. TD Browse provides a familiar experience, supports immediate success with eye gaze, and prioritizes an immersive, content-first approach so you can focus on what you want to do online. Almost all of us are familiar with online browsing, whether that's been with a touch tablet or a computer with a mouse. TD Browse provides the same online environment you've always had, but introduces a new access method. This means you'll only be learning one new skill, eye gaze, while everything else you're doing online will already feel familiar to you. With TD Browse, you can start scrolling and clicking with your eyes in just 5 minutes or less. Scroll and click are the two most important functions when navigating online content. That's why TD Browse has a toggle with these two functions right on your screen at all times. In scroll mode, just look up or down to naturally scroll through the content. When you toggle to click mode, you'll be able to select even small targets accurately using color links. Whenever you hold your gaze on an area of the screen, all the links in that region become underlined or outlined and connected to a selectable colored dot. To open the link you want, just hold your gaze on the matching color link, and away you go. When you're exploring online, your attention should be on what you're seeing, hearing, and reading. Everything in TD Browse is meant to feel natural, anticipating what you need and working behind the scenes. Let me give you a few examples. Whenever you select a text field on your screen, Smart Keyboard will appear automatically. It will provide word prediction suggestions to increase your efficiency. The navigation bar at the top sits there quietly until you need it. When you look at it, it will expand to give you control over typical browser functions, like back and forward, refreshing a page, entering a website address, visiting your top sites, and zooming in. Features needed specific.
I'm gonna skip here because this YouTube one is one of my favorites because it's a really highly used browser. So I want to show you how TD Browse
The
can
small
help
screen
you.
menu automatically adapts to contain multimedia controls whenever you're watching a video. So you'll have access to pause and resume and volume controls here too. The internet lets us connect with people, access information, pursue professional activities, try new hobbies, and just have fun with all the entertainment options available.
All right. So again, TD Browse, I hope you enjoyed that video. I always know that every time I try it, even if I've done it a lot of times, it's still very, very easy. And what I love about it is that it makes it so that you don't need to concentrate on how to access, you can interact with the content. All right, so a couple of things to point out about TD Browse is that it is available on our Windows-based devices. So our TD i13s and TD i16s. It will give you a built-in orientation. So it will run you through how to do some of those skills before you're put in the stressful situation of actually having to do them. And then again, everything is made to feel natural and easy. All right. And Darlene, I loved all those questions, but it did take up a bit of time.
Oh,
So,
no, you're fine.
oh, okay. All right. I'm doing okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Perfect. All right. So let's talk about TD Control. It's very similar to TD Browse, but the biggest difference here is that it is available on our PCI tracker. For those of you who don't know, we have some patients who just want to utilize our eye gaze for physical access, right? They don't necessarily need it for communication. So our PCI tracker is basically our eye gaze software that you can plug into a Windows laptop or computer and use it for eye gaze access. So TD Control is available for that. And I want to have you watch the video to really see what the differences are between that and TD Browse. Let's take a look.
Let's watch how easy it is to use the tools in TD Control to navigate your computer. In this example, we'll look up the weather online. When you're in the TD Control application, you'll see the gaze trace indicating where you're looking on screen. When you want to interact with something, simply hold your gaze on it. Let's look at the Google Chrome icon, and then select the activator icon to confirm that we want to interact. This brings up the interaction menu in the center of your screen. Notice that a magnified image of the selected area is displayed in the middle, with all your main interaction functions surrounding it.
So notice that one of the biggest differences is that TD Browse, because it always has that click as the first function, you could just look and already click, right? So this one is going to walk you through an additional step, but it does also allow you to do those more complex functions, such as left click, double click, and whatnot.
You can even customize this menu to display just a few tools of your choice. Here, let's select double click to open our browser. Now that your browser is open, fix your gaze on the address bar. Select the activator icon to interact, and choose keyboard to enter text. Notice how word prediction makes this process easy. Select enter on the keyboard to start the search, and then close the keyboard. To scroll through your results, fix your gaze anywhere on the screen. Select the activator icon and select scroll. Look toward the bottom of your screen to start scrolling down, or look up to go back. To slow down the scrolling speed, keep your gaze closer to the scroll icon. When you have found the website you want, close the scroll tool. Now fix your gaze on the link, select the activator, and select left click.
Perfect. So I hope that outlined some of the biggest differences. Again, if you are wanting to purchase PCI Mini, this is going to be the only available option, but they are both really, really great web browsers. All right. Okay, so to sum up a little bit on that, it is available. So this one can be done both with our devices and your own laptops and computers. The thing that I love about it is that it gives access to every function that you could do with your hands on a mouse or a keyboard. It can be done through TD Control. It can also be used for very complex stuff, such as gaming. So online games and things like that, it can be linked to controllers to help you do some of that. And then it also, because of the activation menu, it gives you a lot less eye movement from having to look around the screen. Everything stays close to your target. All right. This is our last one, guys. And then after this, I'd love to hear what you think of these programs. Even if you're not an eye gaze user, we would love your feedback. So what is TD Phone? It is a purpose-built system for having conversations, both through voice calling and texting using your eyes. Let's take a closer look.
And also provides quick messages to increase communication efficiency. I'm Lindsay, and I'm from the learning team at Tobii Dynavox. I'm here to tell you about TD Phone, software that gives people who use AAC the opportunity to communicate with others through texting and calling. TD Phone allows those with a TD-I13 or a TD-I16 device the opportunity to make or answer calls and send or receive text messages to anyone they please. Hello?
Hey.
In many ways, those that use AAC find themselves dependent on others, especially when it comes to phone access. They often get messages relayed to them by others and have to ask for assistance to communicate with someone who isn't in their vicinity. This limits their ability to communicate freely and autonomously. With TD Phone, a communicator can choose who and what to text. They can choose when and who to call without assistance. They can even add favorite contacts for quick access to call or send a message to close friends or family. TD Phone also provides quick messages to increase communication efficiency while on a call. These messages are fully customizable, so a person using AAC can communicate an entire message on the phone with just a glance at a single button.
What are you doing later?
Make a mistake? No problem. Select the Undo button to undo the last action in the message window. When texting, communicators can preview the message they receive before opening the entire thread. There may be times where you start a message but don't send it right away. If you start typing a message, but it isn't the right time to send it, or you get interrupted, it will save as a draft so you can revisit later.
Perfect. We're going to skip ahead because there's a newer feature to this that a lot of our patients have been really excited about. I want to make sure
For
we
an
hit that.
additional personal touch, you can use the unmute feature if you want to communicate something using oral speech during your call. TD Phone gives you many ways to communicate what you want, how you want. What if you're a multilingual user? TD Phone has you covered there too. Select the globe icon to access the quick language feature. This feature allows you to switch between up to 6 languages so you can use the language you need for the moment you're in.
Perfect. So that voice feature is something new. So one of the things we had patients tell us is that sometimes they have some verbal speech, right? Or sometimes when they use TD Phone, their caregiver or their family member would want to come in and also be able to talk on the phone. So you can toggle that mute feature on and off. So you can turn it on and either you can speak or your loved one can speak. And then if you mute, the person on the other end of the line will only hear what you type and comes out of the keyboard. All right. So some highlights on this, it is only available on our Windows devices. So it will be compatible with both our TD i13 and i16. However, it can be used for both kinds of phones. So if you have an iPhone, if you have an Android or a Windows, no problem, TD Phone can accommodate you. It will actually send you notifications so that you can stay up to date and feel like your responses are timely. It allows for prediction and multiple languages. All right.
Is it actually that TD Phone thing? It's a thing or an app?
It is an application that we load on.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
So questions, comments, anybody?
Yeah, we have a few. So Ernest, are you doing our translation for us in Spanish? I don't know I think it's Ernest back there. Marizella at 443 had a question in Spanish and then a couple more, and I want to make sure we get to them. Can someone come on and tell me what she said, or?
Darlene, I think
Yeah.
that you might be on the Spanish channel or something, because I'm on English and I can hear Ernest translating the questions.
How did I get on? I got on everybody's. Okay. No, okay.
Ernest, you want to try that again for us?
Sorry, Ernest. Does it have to be AAC? These are systems for AAC. Okay, and then there was some more questions up above, Ernest, at 443. Se me fue la señal. I don't know if I said that right. Oh. It says se me fue la señal. Oh, that's what that's saying. Okay. ¿Dónde se adquiere? At 449. Where can I get it?
I don't know if, can you hear Ernest? He said, where can I get it?
I do. I'm playing Who's on First with him. I'm sorry, Ernest. Okay, where can I get it? So you would get these pieces of equipment through Tobii Dynavox, someone like Devon or a representative in your community, depends on where you live. And then you would have an assessment and you would include a speech and language pathologist in your assessment. Am I saying this right, Devon?
Yes.
And so they would write up the assessment and then they would work with Tobii Dynavox to get you funding through whichever insurance company you use.
Yes. I did see something else too about adults. Yes, we do a lot of these devices for adults. Like I said, because we are contracted with most insurance providers, as long as you meet criteria, it doesn't matter the patient's age.
So most of the individuals who are regional center clients are going to be Medi-Cal clients. So if you, and
Yes.
I mean, most AAC users are some form. If you are a Medi-Cal client or patient, whichever they call it, recipient, then for sure you should start talking, and you need AAC. That's something we can look at for sure.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be like one of the other privately organized insurance companies. Medi-Cal does fund this. Okay, so then someone was asking if you get, for the eye gaze systems, if you get to practice with it. And Devon said yes.
Yeah, good question. So definitely during your evaluation, we want you to try all the products that we have available, try the different systems so that you really know what you're selecting, right? We want you to love your equipment as much as we do.
Someone's asking, William's asking, what about learning the device or training your team?
Good question. So with funded devices, there always comes support from a solutions consultant such as myself. So usually what we'll do is we'll train the speech therapist, or we'll train one or two key members of the patient's support team, and the patient, of course. And then usually what we do is for the rest of the team, we offer courses and a lot of digital resources.
And then Satish is asking, saying we have Kaiser at this point, also as a medical, as a secondary. Yes, that works out just fine.
Yes.
Yeah. And Nina, you have your hand up.
Yeah, this is probably the most the craziest, dumbest question, but this Tobii Dynavox is available nationwide. You're not just you're a national company.
Correct. Yes, we actually have offices in Europe, Japan, Mexico. Yeah,
And also so a lot. And these products, would they be also applicable to, for people with like aphasia, strokes, that like a pretty global loss of stuff, but that you can still at least get an evaluation and see if this, do you cover that span of, a client as well?
we sure do. So insurance medical justification is that the patient needs to have a communication impairment, right? Which we know there are lots of medical conditions that can create communication impairments. So yes, we do a ton of aphasia. We do stroke, TBI, anoxic brain injuries, autism, cerebral palsy.
Great, thank you.
Of course.
Do you have more in your presentation, Devon?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. So please ask questions. Also give ideas. Like what's your wish list? If you have or need to use or have a person in your family who uses AAC, or you personally use AAC, what do you wish it could do? And I'll give you mine, although it may become outdated soon. You guys probably heard me say this before, but Devon hasn't. So my wish is that there was a hologram communication device that sat on your belt buckle or your purse or around your neck or something. You press a button, it projects out, has a little speaker attached to it, and then you could communicate and then put it away really quick. That's my wish. The hologram communication device. So nothing too silly, okay? Okay, so let's see. Alvar says, all these are awesome and seem very helpful. I recently lost my job because of my inability to access the computer and communicate as much as I need to due to issues typing and using the mouse. I'm also limited in how I can type to communicate, even in my everyday life now, which is very hard for me. I've been applying for Medi-Cal again since my employer's insurance ended, and I keep getting hung up on since I type too slow. Oh my gosh. And they lose patience, which is frustrating. Well, Alvar, you just write to us and we'll see if we can get somebody to help you at least sit on the call, not get them to hang up, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
And also I have seen patients successfully either go back to work or find a new job. And either they or their employer purchase the PCI Mini, which allows them to access the computer with eye gaze. Obviously, the time component is going to be slightly different, but it will allow you to use every function that you could use with hand access for computers.
and you don't cover San Diego, right?
No, but we have a
Okay.
colleague that does.
Yes, okay. All right. So let us help you, Alvar, if you need help getting that organized. Anybody else have a wish list? Or a question? Alvar says thank you. Maria is saying, Devon, can you share the information in the chat? Oh, your information. Can you put your information in the chat?
Yes.
So I'm wondering, were we clear on how the insurances and the funding source worked? Was that clear to people, or because that's always the big deal question that people like, what is the process that you go through when you're thinking, I need a new device?
Yes. So actually that was just a question in the chat is how do I get started? So really the first step is to see a speech therapist, right? This is communication equipment, so it always needs to come from a speech therapist. But sometimes if you're not connected to speech therapy or you've never seen speech therapy, sometimes the first step is talking to your doctor, telling them that there is communication equipment that you would like to be assessed for. And the doctor just puts in a referral for speech therapy. And then speech therapy will take it from there. They'll help you with the assessment. Sometimes they bring us in if they need us. Sometimes they rock it out on their own. And then from the assessment, once we know what equipment you would like, we have you fill out some paperwork. We reach out to the physician, get prescriptions. We put together this big insurance packet and we send it off to your insurance and ask that they fund the device.
Yep, there are some steps involved.
Yes.
But when your speech person gets involved, then and is doing this with you with Tobii Dynavox is really good. All the vendors really, but Tobii Dynavox itself is really good at helping your speech people make sure they write a report that's going to be what the insurance company needs, whichever one it is. And if you blatantly forget some piece, they'll say, hey, you forgot to talk about this, and help us fix that, so that we as speech people are doing the right thing. So this partnership between you and the vendor Tobii Dynavox and your speech person works really well to get it approved. And you have to usually do a trial. If you haven't done anything, if you haven't ever had anything, you might have to do a trial period. And then
Yeah, that's very, yes, that's very dependent on your insurance, Darlene. So some
Yes.
insurances will require that and some are okay without.
Right.
But I find it's more common for kids, right? Because they're
Oh,
like,
really?
these kids are young. We really want to see if we can use it. Yeah. But yes, we're happy to, we usually know based on your insurance if you require a trial. If not, we usually reach out to your insurance for you and just see if a trial is required. So if it is, we can assist you.
Yeah, they're very helpful. Okay, so how does your speech therapist connect with your speech therapist, if your speech therapist knows how to do an AAC eval, they will know how to do that.
Yes. I'm also going to post a link to a place on our website where you can put in your zip code and it will actually give you the name and phone number of your individual consultant. So I'll post that.
Good. That's very good. That's very helpful. So in general, ballparking it, what's the price range we're talking about for these pieces of equipment?
Yes, give me one sec,
Oh,
darling.
sure, sorry.
No, you're okay. I just want to get this link in the chat. Okay. Okay. Yes. So for most touch looking around 7,000. We know that that is a significant amount of money, which is
Oh,
why
wait, you broke up.
we
Say it
do
again.
everything we can.
Say it again.
Oh,
Please say
yes,
it again.
sorry. So usually for a touch device, Nina, are you wanting to say something?
Oh, just I was saying what Darlene was saying, which is you broke up on how much it is. And we're dying to know.
Thank you. Gotcha. Yeah, so most touch devices run anywhere between 6,000 and 7,000. We know that that is a significant cost. The reason that the cost is what it is because all of those supports that we offer, all of the funding from that comes from the individual price of the device. So the reason that we can offer consultants, offer technical support, offer warranties is because of that price.
Right. So that's, to me, that's another reason to make sure you use the services that come with the device. Don't just get the device like you would an iPad and stay at home getting frustrated because you don't know how it works. You know, you want to connect that. They are assuming and wanting you to stay in there and connect with them, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then Maricela is saying, am I still in Spanish? No, I'm in English. What is Maricela saying? So the device would be, it comes as it comes, and the trainings can help you do, I mean, the goal is for you to learn how to program it and such, but
Yes.
you would want, and hopefully your speech person would write in there, that you're gonna have some follow-up support to do that initial getting it started, getting an understanding going, along with the services that Tobii Dynavox offers for assistance, to personalize it. So Tobii Dynavox doesn't necessarily personalize it, but whoever's doing your follow-up with you could use Tobii. It could be you or your parent or a sibling or something that does the programming for you. But that person can get support from Tobii Dynavox because you purchased the device. But they don't personally, it comes set up, ready to go with all the most reasonable and logical things that Devon showed. That's how it comes set up. Then you personalize it based on who you are and what you need to talk about. Letty's asking anybody if they know anything about AI programs, that apps for college students to take notes, reading, etc. Any recommendations? I was actually thinking I got to find somebody to do an AI session. That'd be kind of fun, huh? In 2025. Satisha's asking, how many hours of solution consultation hours come with the device?
Good question. That depends on the type of the device. So we know that eye gaze is much harder to adapt to. So we give 4 hours for eye gaze. And again, this can be used in any way that either the family, the patient, or the team that's helping wants to use those hours. And then for touch devices, we usually offer 1 to 2 hours.
A personal, like, one-on-one consultation.
Correct.
You can do
Correct.
YouTube
Also-
stuff all you want.
Yes, and also what we can do is the consultants can point you towards specific courses on our website that would be most suited to your device and your access method. So that, you know, we try to give you resources in our time so that then you at least know where to look and where to go from there.
Yeah. Great. I'm gonna get your website up there so we can put your, unless you have it.
Yeah, I can post the one for the Navios.
Okay. And this is just their general website.
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
And then this link
Questions?
that I'm dropping has every device that we offer.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. You guys had good questions. Good ideas. Devon, love the new products.
Thank you.
are you gonna be at any conferences or anything where people can touch and feel these things?
We are, yes. So maybe not myself, but we usually go to the major conventions. So I know someone from our company will be at ASHA. Usually we also attend CASHA and those types of events as well.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, maybe if we have a big deal conference at DVU, we'll be sure and invite you all, because then maybe we can get people to touch and feel it too. Oftentimes we do virtual since we do
I
states.
always, yeah,
Uh,
we would love that, Darlene. I know we can offer you pictures and whatnot, but really being able to touch and feel them is the best way to get to know them. So we would be happy to support you.
Yeah. Cheryl's saying if it has a camera, can you turn it off and on?
Good question. So you can use it for pictures and video chat, right? It's kind of like an iPhone. So if you don't open an app that requires the camera, it technically stays off. Then when you open those apps that require it, it's going to automatically turn on the camera for you.
Okay. Those are some websites that that you mentioned, ASHA, CASHA. Are these FDA approved? The devices? Yes. They're because if in order for insurance companies to be paid for, that's what you're like the iPad, you can't buy an iPad through your insurance because that's not a vendor. But these are considered durable medical equipment.
And trust me, we do a lot of testing and development on that word durable medical equipment. We really try our best to make them smash proof, break proof.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Devon.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. I am going, oh yeah, I already dropped my information in the chat. So obviously I may not be your consultant, but we have someone for everywhere. So if you have trouble finding or you want more information, you can always reach out to me and I can help direct you. But I want to thank Darlene for letting Tobii Dynavox be a part of this meeting. And I want to thank you all for being so involved. It really made it much more enjoyable for me as well.
And if you want to stick around and hear our upcoming events, feel free to do so. If you need to leave, that's okay too. But we do want to share a few things that we have coming up. For our department, for the empowerment department, we are starting our third cohort of the Self-Advocacy Speakers Bureau. Announcements and save the date's going to go out on the 26th, I believe it is. So if you're in the DVU mailing list, you'll get it there. And then all of us can, and Michaela's putting it in the chat here. So save the dates. We're going to start our next cohort. Actually, it'll begin in November. This year it's going to be on a Thursday. We hope that you'll spread the word. What we do in the self-advocate speakers training is we have 3 sessions, each are an hour and a half long. There is an orientation that's an hour before we get started, the week before, but 3 sessions of an hour and a half long. And we will work on teaching you how to build your elevator pitch, which is what you want to be able to give as a self-advocate to grab someone's attention, to pique their interest in hearing more about you and about your projects or whatever it is you're advocating for. And we also talk about knowing your audience, knowing what a good pitch for different audiences would be, how your passion might be medical, but yet you're asked to speak at a city council. How do you tweak that? And that kind of thing. So all the sessions are virtual. We have breakout rooms where we get to practice with each other and give each other feedback. We use the Google Classroom so that there's homework assignments and suggestions on videos to watch. And when you finish, you can apply to be a part of our Speakers Bureau, which I don't know. Michaela, do you have that link like really quick that we could put it up, what it looks like now? Okay, can I do it? Would it work? Let's see.
It's in the chat, Darlene.
Okay, cool. So let me share my screen really fast, if I can. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Real quick. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Is it coming up? Is it taking its sweet time? Yep, it's taking its sweet time.
Getting there,
I'm sorry about that, guys.
taking its time.
Here we go. Okay, so
There.
this is our current Self-Advocate Speakers Bureau. We just launched it this month. And you can find a speaker here. This tells you what it's about, but you can find a speaker here. And you can see that here's Emma. She's available to talk about education and inclusion, communication access, autism awareness, and more. I'll just use her because she was the first one here. And she tells a little bit about herself, virtual or in person, anywhere in the nation, gives her fees, and everybody puts different things. The additional fees may be discussed, accommodations are needed, and then you can contact her yourself and as a person that wants to hire or talk to Emma about being a speaker for you. So this is available. I mean, each one of the self-advocates has that kind of information. Right now we have 20 people on here. We're going to be organizing you all. Just know that in the near future here to get some projects done. But that is the Self-Advocate Speakers Bureau. So if you want to be a part of that, sign up for our Self-Advocate Speakers training that's starting in the fall here. So that's one thing we got coming on. And Gilda, you've got something that you want to share. We'll bring you in.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gilda Hiron. For those who don't know me, I'm the Director of Outreach and Leadership Training here at Disability Voices United. And I wanted to announce that November 8th, Disability Voices United has a conference called A Matter of Race and Place, Building Fair Policies for Californians with Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. It's our equity conference. It's a one-day event. And that's going to bring people with disabilities, families, advocates, researchers, professionals, all together to identify barriers and develop solutions. We're really excited and hopefully you can join us. But after the conference, we'll be creating and sharing a report with our recommendations. And for those who are part of the regional center, this is not a regional centered event. However, if you're a self-advocate or a client served or a family member and need help with the cost, we've had a lot of people get it covered by their regional center. They've asked their service coordinator. And for those in the self-determination program, you can ask your FMS to pay for the conference if it's in your spending plan. We're also working to secure enough sponsorships to offer scholarships for those who might need financial assistance, which we will announce on our, it'll be on a, what's it called, financial need basis. So I hope you can join us. And if you have any further questions, you can always reach out to myself, and I will put my email in the chat if anyone has any questions.
Thanks, Gilda. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's in Los Angeles. Did you say that?
No, I did not. It's going to be, thank you for mentioning that. It's going to be at the California Endowment in Los Angeles.
Yeah. So it'd be fun to see people in person, right? All right. And then Nina, you have something very important to share.
I do, and I thank you, and maybe Michaela can put this exciting information up on the screen. So basically, this is a pitch for your help. Everybody who is still on this call, we could really use your help to support. We have a DVU along with the ICC, the Integrated Community Collaborative, our sister organization. We have 3 bills sitting on the governor's desk for signature. None of them, except maybe the smallest one, which I'll get to in a second, is a sure thing that the governor will sign it. And in fact, one of them, it's going to be kind of a heavy lift. So we need a real show of support. So the bills are, and I don't know, Michaela, if you want to like link us up to the website that goes through all this stuff.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
The link is up and I can share the page while you talk too.
Yeah, that'd be
great. That And so yeah, it's it's funny. Earlier today, Gilda and I were looking for this, and it's the Take Action Now button as you when you open up the website. So our three bills are the one in order of, if you only have time to support one, here's the order of relative the need for support. And the first one is AB 1147. And basically that bill, which, you know, was a part of it was part of it, it was a bigger bill last year, but in any event, it is now down to a very important provision, which is making the regional centers subject to the California Public Records Act. They right now, although DDS is subject to it, and every other state and local agency that you can imagine, counties, everything you can think of, school districts, the regional centers are not. And so to really ensure the transparency that we really need to do the advocacy we need to do, this bill is super important. And we have a lot of great supporters out there, a lot of groups supporting. And when you scroll through on the website, there is a whole list of our supporters, which are very varied, and it's wonderful. We've gotten a lot of great press, editorial and support from the New York Times, from the LA Times, and other places, and it's been great. But it really needs your help. And so I'm just going to go. The other bills are SB 1281, and that involves strengthening the self-determination program. Some key provisions there, and that would be also like a really great thing to have, but again, not a for sure thing. And the final bill, SB 1463, is about, it's creating a deputy director, which would be a governor appointed position at DDS, whose purpose is a deputy director for the self-determination program to ensure the success of the program. So it's a one-line bill, but it's important. So the process is for individuals, and just let me say, it's very fun in the morning. If you're having a hard time getting your day going, just like go and make a phone call to the governor's office. It feels so good to start the day that way. And it's an easy thing to do. So if you're an individual, as opposed to an organization, there's kind of two ways to show your support. We've got sample letters for each of the bills here. But what you do is you go to this link, which is the governor's contacts link on the governor's webpage, and you go through the process there, which involves picking a topic. We lay it all out here. Choose an active bill. You select the bill you're after, AB 1147, and then you highlight that. Then it'll get you to where you indicate if you're pro or con. You of course say pro, and then there's a space for a comment. You can create a little comment, just a small thing, or you can copy and paste the sample letter that we've provided here and put it right in there. So any way that's easy for you, we want to make it easy on you, but anything that indicates your support of the bill is most welcome. If you don't feel like doing that, you can just call the governor's office. This is quite easy to do. And you can actually you can either leave a message or talk to a live person, but it's just simply, they just really want to know the number of the bill, and that's what you're urging the governor to sign. So it's like both of these things are really, whatever you can do, we appreciate. And it's actually quite easy for organizations, which is just the last thing on there. It's also very easy. There's 3 sample letters, and that goes to a website that an email address that is in that. Yeah, it's at the Ledge. Yeah, the Ledge unit email address, and you just send one of those letters. You put it on your organization's letterhead, sign it. You can adapt it to any way you want. That's great to personalize it. But if you don't feel like it, understood. Just anything that can help. We really need to have a show of support. It at this point, a numbers game to show there's really community support out there, because as some of you probably, I don't know if you've heard this, but we have a lot of support, but our opponent in this is really the Association of Regional Centers agency, and you know, they represent the regional centers, and on some of them, the regional centers are conveying that there'd be a real danger with personal information getting out, or how difficult it is to you know, keep confidential the personal information. The personal information on regional center clients and families and anything like that, health data, all of that is explicitly exempt from disclosure. And all of these agencies that I mentioned, including DDS, have had years and years and years of experience in administering Public Records Act requests and keeping confidential data confidential. We also, this wouldn't take effect for another 2 years ago. It wouldn't go into effect until 2026. So there's plenty of time for the regional centers to get ready to deal with what they are assuming will be just a ton of requests. But in any event, we feel that we take a balanced approach here to you know, giving regional centers enough time to be ready for it. And so hopefully, you know, hopefully this will go through, but there's a lot of pressure. None of these are a done deal. And that's sad to say, but with all of your help, and we thank you all, we've gotten it all through, you know, both houses of the legislature, you know, and now they are sitting on the desk waiting for signature. So any help you can provide, we really appreciate it.
So, Nina, real quick, okay, Lulu's asking if we can put these letters into Spanish.
I think we might have that, and I'm sure we
Quite honestly,
can.
it's more effective if it's in English, but
Oh, okay.
we can.
Okay, and then also, Tommy, do you see how it works now to get the letters?
So let me do this. Let me share screen and show people how to do that, because it can be complicated. So you're going in and you're saying, what is your request or comment? Your choice is you want to click on an active bill. And then to find the bills, it starts with the assembly bills. So it's kind of an alphabetical order. So to get to the Senate bills, you have to scroll through all the assembly bills to get to the Senate bills. There are way more assembly bills than there are Senate bills.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're going all the way down here, way down. Okay, so now we're in the Senate bills. And so, oops, didn't mean to do that. So then to go to 1281, you just have to keep scrolling. I think he has like 1,000 bills to report out on. So eventually you will get to 1281. I got to it a second ago. So yeah, so you just have to be patient and keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it will be there any moment now. Yeah, there it is. So that's what you have to do.
But I just want to say it is a great way to start your day. Cup of coffee, get on the phone, and leave a message of your support. It's so fun. Makes you feel good.
So if you look up above, everyone, you will see the links, the link to the website, and then the take action, that's where all this information is found. Where is it? It's up at.
I just put it right at the bottom again.
Okay, thanks, Michaela. You know, Regional Center turns back billions of dollars. And I'm sure that's not because all of you got all the services you needed. So you might want to know where they're spending their money. And that's why you might want the public records to be public, right? Or the records to be public. Because it seems odd that people aren't getting all the services they think they need and are asking for, and yet billions of dollars are going back. That doesn't really make sense. So that would be one reason off the top of my head I could think of that would be nice to see where the money's going. Right.
As Tommy says, follow the money. Of always good advice. And the PRA will help you do that, the Public Records Act.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I wanted 5:30, so I want to thank our translators. And I want to thank, of course, Devon was great. Oh, I think Lulu, we already talked to Lulu. Lulu, are you raising your hand again? Lulu, come on. Let's bring Lulu on. It might have been an old raise.
Sí, buenas tardes. Yo quería comentar que este proyecto de ley está solo en inglés y yo estaba pensando si habrá alguna manera de que nos puedan apoyar haciendo la traducción para que así la podamos compartir y las personas puedan apoyar informadamente, porque más ahora con esto de que el centro regional ha enviado un comunicado, nos preocupa mucho más y necesitamos que porque las personas se están confundiendo en si lo que dice el centro regional de Orange, que es el que mandó este comunicado, es correcto, o la ley es qué es lo que contiene. Entonces pienso que ayudaría mucho si pudieran hacer ese esfuerzo en traducirlas y así todos podríamos tener un poco más de claridad y así invitar a los demás a votar, a apoyar, la verdad, a apoyar este proyecto. Gracias.
Okay, we'll put the letter in Spanish. I think we can get that done. Great.
So I'll just comment, Lulu, that we will do our best to get the letter in Spanish, but right now we don't have a lot of time. Like these decisions are going to potentially be made in the next day or two. And so we need people to just get this done. We're not going to be able to translate the law or the bill because that requires it's very technical stuff and it's actually really, really hard to do. So I'm not going to be able to do that. But if it becomes part of the Lanterman Act is now fully translated and they would be able to make it, to change it for next year.
So tell your friends too, pass the word. All right, well, thank you all. We will see you next month.